In this video, we're gonna go ahead and compare two Apple Watches and finally answer a frequently asked question I've been seeing asked a lot all over the internet. Should you go with the standard GPS Apple Watch, or are you really better off spending a little bit more and get the cellular version of the Apple Watch? Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna go ahead and answer in today's video, as I actually recently went ahead and actually picked up a cellular version of the Series 5 Apple Watch, and we're gonna go ahead and compare that to my Series 5 standard with the GPS. I'm gonna go ahead and share with you my experience and things to really consider, covering all the pros and cons, why one might be better than the other, and why it may better suit you. So here is my regular Series 5 Apple Watch. It's the Nike edition, and then recently I picked up the cellular version of that Series 5, non-Nike edition, but I got it for the same cost that this was brand new. How did I manage to do that? You can find out more in this video if you want to go ahead and watch that, or watch it later on at the end of this video if you're curious on how I got that deal, because that same deal is still available, probably will be for a long time. So before we start off, I want to actually talk about the Series 3 Apple Watch, because that Apple Watch is still currently available in today's market, which means you can purchase it in the regular GPS version, or you could, let me erase the seat, get this cellular version brand new on shelf retailer stores. But something I want to quickly highlight, in case you're buying the Series 3, is that both of those Apple Watches are not the same. The Series 3 non-cellular, as an example, only has 8 GB of internal storage. If you get the LTE version, the cellular, that actually has double the storage capacity, 16 GB. Just something I want to quickly cover in case you want to get that version instead. But the Series 4 and the Series 5, doesn't matter if you get the non-cellular version or the cellular version, internal specs are exactly the same from that generation. So the Series 4 will still have 16 gigs. Cellular or non-cellular, doesn't matter. The Series 5 will still have 32 gigs, cellular or non-cellular. Just wanted to quickly clarify that. Now, things to look out for. I bought my Series 5 cellular version, paid in full, and depending where you get yours, you may have to pay an activation fee. If you go into like a cellular store, as an example, you might have to agree to a 2-year contract, and I don't recommend doing it that way, because cellular companies, as we all know, they always have a way to put hidden fees somewhere, and you could end up paying more than what a brand new Series 5 cellular Apple Watch may cost you at the Apple Store. Now, I do understand everybody has different financial situations. I'm just pointing this out so everybody could be cautious, because you might find a better deal without having a 2-year contract, like what I did with my Series 5. But the only important fee you gotta really think about is the additional $10 fee that you're gonna have to add on your cell phone provider if you want to have LTE activated on your cellular Apple Watch. But if you actually go with the route that I did, pay your Apple Watch in full, you could deactivate the cellular connection as many months as you want and reactivate it later. So as a fine example is, let's say for example, you are gonna go to Hawaii next month. You might as well activate it just in case you forget your phone somewhere. But then once you're back from your trip, you could just easily log into your cell phone provider account, deactivate it, and you're good to go. You can't do that if you're under a 2-year contract. So cost saving, you might be better off just paying it out in full, or search all over the internet until you find a reasonable deal. At least that's how it is with my AT&T account. So since I'm a existing AT&T member, I did not have to call customer service to activate or deactivate my Series 5 Apple Watch. The process, to be honest, was really easy. All I had to do was just log into my AT&T account when I was pairing up my Apple Watch using the Apple Watch app on my iPhone. So that's a quick background summary on how the service works with the cellular version Apple Watch. Now, pricing wise, it's obvious that the cellular version is more expensive than the regular non-cellular version Apple Watch. These two are the 44mm, but if you're getting the entry-level one, the 40, it's $399 for the standard GPS Series 5 Apple Watch, and then it's about $100 more if you want the cellular version. And besides having that cool red ring around the digital crown, when activated, really all you really get is the ability to receive incoming or outgoing calls anywhere where you have a good cellular connection. The Series 5, just a standard GPS version, as long as it's running the latest version of watchOS 6 or newer, it can still receive messages via iMessage without having your phone nearby, as long as you receive or send a message to another iOS device, so your phone doesn't have to be nearby. I done that before because I accidentally have forgotten my phone a couple of times when I was at the gym, but I was able to connect my Series 5 to the Wi-Fi network at my gym. So most of my notifications and messages was still coming to my wrist. And in that same situation, some music apps will actually allow you to stream your playlists, even though you don't have it stored on your Apple Watch. It's still able to wirelessly connect to your iPhone, even though the two devices are super far apart. So you don't always have to have music stored on your device. Now, obviously the same can be said about the cellular version Apple Watch, but this time, if I ever find myself running outdoors and I don't have my phone on me, I am still technically connected to the internet. I can still ask Siri to do stuff. I'm able to stream my playlist and etc. GPS will still load fine. So if I have to enter last minute directions with just a Series 5 cellular Apple Watch, I'll be perfectly fine. Now, the non-cellular version Apple Watch, the standard GPS, even though it says it has built-in GPS, which that is true, but if there's no internet connectivity, if you launch the map app, everything else is not going to load. You'll be able to see your dot, so it can still track your coordinates, the altitude and all that good stuff, and record all that data in case you're running. But if you're actually trying to use your watch for directions, you can't do it without Wi-Fi or some kind of network connectivity. The Series 5, since it connects to LTE, the map will be able to load. You can still get your directions to go to whatever destination you have to go to during that time. Now, when it comes to battery concern, between these two, day to day, they both can achieve the same all-day battery life. Honestly, I haven't noticed a difference when it comes to switching between these two. However, the way the cellular version Apple Watch works, when your phone is connected, the LTE is disabled. So it's turned off because it doesn't need it. But once the watch notices that your phone is far away from you, it's gonna switch to LTE. That's how it's able to preserve as much battery life as possible, like the standard non-cellular Apple Watch. But whenever I'm answering a call, or I'm actually relying on the LTE reception, I have noticed a dip in battery life at the end of the day. But that being said, to no surprise, this is the exact same result that you get when you're on a cell phone and you're on a phone call for a long time. Your battery life is gonna drain a little bit faster. Same can be said about the cellular Apple Watch. But the reception on the Series 5 cellular is actually surprisingly good. It doesn't perform as bad as you may think compared to your modern day iPhone. The reception between the watch and the iPhone was almost identical. For being a smaller device with a smaller antenna, I really don't have much to complain about its reception limits. Just I do think that the signal is slightly less powerful when it comes to speed performance, but there's really no way to confirm that because Apple doesn't really allow you to browse Safari on the Apple Watch to run like a speed test. But for my day-to-day experience, I have no complaints when it comes to connecting to LTE and speed performance. But I know this may also vary depending on everybody's location. So I live nearby cities, so cellular reception around my area is pretty good. So if you too also have cell phone towers nearby, you're gonna be perfectly fine with the cellular Apple Watch. With that said, really the only exclusive thing that you get when choosing the cellular version over the non-cellular Apple Watch is that all the cellular Apple Watches get this additional watch face, the Explorer, which all it does is just displays the reception bars right here in the center part of the watch face. Then there's also an exclusive complication that you can put on any other watch face, which will do the exact same thing, just show you reception. The materials that's available between these two are exactly the same. Same can also be said about the other models also available like the Nike, except for the Airmans. That's only available in LTE. So really, the only thing you gotta keep in mind when choosing between the non-cellular Apple Watch and the regular GPS Apple Watch is that do you want to be connected to the internet at all times? Or maybe you constantly find yourself forgetting your iPhone when you're out and about? Or do you like the freedom of literally leaving your phone behind, traveling light, nothing in your pocket, just your wrist with your Apple Watch so you can still stay connected to friends and family and have quick connectivity right there on your wrists? Or you might work at a workplace where they ban smartphones. I used to work in one of those, and your last resort is to invest in a smartwatch that actually has a cellular connection like this. If you said yes to any of those, then yeah, the cellular version Apple Watch is probably the best choice for you. If none of those, however, applied, then you're gonna get away just fine with just a simple GPS series or any other series Apple Watch because you're gonna always have your phone nearby. Now, if you wanna know what my personal take about these two Apple Watches is, I'm probably gonna end up selling my Nike Edition Series 5 Apple Watch because I actually do like having the cell phone connectivity. Now, I'm not gonna have it activated throughout the entire year, so next month I actually plan on deactivating it. And let's say, for example, this fall I go somewhere, like maybe I go to Hawaii. I'm gonna go ahead and log into my AT&T account, pay that $10 just to have it activated. So in case I do forget my phone, I'm not left stranded, especially when I'm on vacation. And the last thing I wanna do is spend another grand and buy a smartphone and a SIM card. Because again, the cellular service isn't required to be activated in order for you to use your Series 5 Apple Watch. It works perfectly fine without it. There's no messages saying that you need to have cellular or whatever. It doesn't do that. It works just like the Series 5 when there's no LTE service. Now again, if you're curious on how I was able to score such a good deal on this cellular version Apple Watch, I explain it all in this video, which you could go ahead and watch right here. And then that video over here, that's a video that YouTube thinks that you will like. Feel free to watch either or, but thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.